Hari Om. Good evening to all of you. A very warm welcome. Please come. Let's pray together and seek the blessings of the Almighty. Let me check the speed once. Internet speed. Okay. Yeah, it's showing good. I had checked before, but now also I checked. It's showing good. Let's continue. Okay, come. Let's pray together. Seek blessings and move ahead. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, the Omniscient, the Omnipresent, and the Omnipotent, who also has the divine names Suhrutaha, to such a supreme, magnificent Lord, together with all humility, obeisance, and gratitude, we offer our humblemost salutations. We seek your grace, your love, your mercy, your affection, your benevolence, your kindness, your strength, your forgiveness. O Lord, bless us with the divine qualities in much more enhanced proportion, like Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, Prapatti, and Mumukshutvam. This is not for any worldly gain. This is only and only to have the first-hand experience of thy true self right within our hearts in this very life and life alone. This can happen purely by your grace. No matter whatever I do, I cannot achieve unless and until you have ordained it. I beseech in you most humbly to grant us this rarest of the rare opportunity and be established in thy true self. Our humble salutations to the Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat. Today, with the grace of the Almighty and the Guru Parampara, we are on our Divine Discourse number 422. On the 22nd of April 2025. Swasti Shri Vishwavasu Nama Samvatsara Uttarayana Vasantarutu Chaitra Masa Krishna Paksha Bhauma Vasare Navimya Titho Shravana Nakshatra Shubhanama Yoge Taitula Karane. On this auspicious day of Tuesday and the auspicious time of the evening, together we once again take an oath. Naham karta hari karta hari preranaya hari prityartha. O Lord, make this knowledge of Naham karta as a reality in my life. Let me be completely established in that knowledge. You and you alone are in this entire universe, appearing in various names, forms, objects and places. I can't ask for anything more. Just keep this knowledge alive in me all along my journey, during the day, during the month, during the year, and in my entire life. This alone is enough for me to get established in you. I beseech in you not to allow that ego of me being a separate entity for even a wee bit. Let me be completely one with you at all times. Please accept my simple and humble most prayer. Om Tat Sat. Our salutations to the Guru Parampara again. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome once again. So, as we had seen, from verse 17 onwards till the 21st verse, which we are going to start today, Bhagavan Shankara, he literally ridicules our ignorance. And this is not in the sense of humiliation. It's in the sense, come out of it. Why are you stuck in this absurd knowledge and ignorance? That's what he tries to tell us over here. So, now what approach I would like to give over here is tell you some ground realities as a preface to before the shlokas, so that you are well prepared to understand the concepts which are going to come across. Okay, so they will all be spread differently. Very simple. So you just try to understand what they are. That much is enough. Now we don't have to do any extra thought process. They're really, really simple. Okay. Now they are like various what you call as formulas, what we understand that way. Now, pot is a name given to a certain arrangement and a certain manifestation of the clay. So with our background understanding, what we should understand? Clay is the cause and the pot is the effect. So now several more examples here. Shirt is a name given to a certain arrangement and a certain manifestation of cotton. So again, cause and effect. Just like this, in the same way. Now you can give another example could be of the gold and ornaments, of water and wave. So just like this whole world, this creation is a name given to a certain arrangement and a certain manifestation of the Divine Almighty God. That's all. So since we know several objects and we know that those objects are the effects, but there is a cause to each and every object. So in the same way, now the whole world, to summarize, is nothing but the effect of only one and one unilateral manifestation of the divine power, that is Brahman, call it as Paramatma, Sakshi, witness, Chit, then Sat, Ananda, all these are the synonyms. So now understand that one factor, anything and everything which is emerging in this universe is nothing but the effect of that one and one alone cause. Okay. Now this is one understanding which we got. Now let's go to another deeper understanding. Now what this says is, now we all say, become the sakshi, become the witness. How do I become? Of what do I become? See, last time we learnt about that meditation where there was a dialogue between a Gurudeva, and a Shishya, where he was saying that he was meditating and the Guru could see that there was ample amount of stress and pressure on his face. He realized if his meditation method was true, there cannot be any stress, because eventually once you're established in the Paramatma, it is Ananda. Ananda is bliss. So that should reflect on your face, isn't it? So when the Guru asked him, what are you meditating on? He says, whatever you taught me, Prajnanam Brahma, I am Atma Brahma. I am meditating on that. Meaning, I am that Brahman. That Brahman in me is consciousness. So then the Guru says, that is what you should not do. He says, what is this, Gurudeva, you are telling me not to do? You yourself taught me Aham Brahmasmi is the highest level of meditation. And now what is this you're saying? Don't meditate on that Aham Brahmasmi. See, these are those small technical mistakes which we do. The gap is very, very minimal. See, in motorcycles, scooters, mopeds, if you see, you have a spark plug. Now sometimes when you're driving that bike, it is misfiring. You can even hear that big sound, pat, you get that kind of a sound. And it doesn't go, it cracks in between the movement of the vehicle. Now what is that which is happening over there? It is the firing of the spark plug. There's a small gap in between two layers in that. Now when the firing happens over there is simultaneously the concoction of the petrol in a highly gaseous form comes there, and in this fire it eventually gives the combustion, and that combustion gives the power to the engine to move ahead. See, that's all so very well tuned in. Now when that firing doesn't happen properly, so this kind of jerks you get in the vehicle. So what they do, you take to a mechanic, and then he immediately opens the spark plug, and he sees that that gap has increased, or in between that gap there is a lot of carbon which has come in. So it was a small thing, but your journey was horrible. So he just takes some carbon paper and he files it and he puts it back. He said, job is done. So these are small things, but they make a big, then you have a smooth ride. You will be surprised, only this much. What he did, nothing. So now where is the mistake here? Which most of us do this, and even I also did the same mistake. Like, I am that Brahman, that awareness in me is Brahman. We all tend to do this, but shift your attention to what? First, if the more and more you say it is I, immediately by our past life experience, I means this jiva. And that jiva and that Brahman can never correlate. Whatever you are saying about that Brahman will not correlate with this I. So you have to get out of that I. When you are saying that I, it is you're reinforcing the strength in that I. The Brahman has no effect on you. It's only that you are reinforcing that aham bhava in you. So first you have to do the anatma buddhi, meaning I am not this person what I thought, panchakosha viveka. Avastatraya, I'm neither the waking, nor the dream, nor the deep sleep. Then I'm neither the gross body, nor the subtle body, nor the causal body. When you do all this one by one, then you have come out of the jiva bhava, and then you get into that state of aham brahmasmi, which is the highest. You can start from tattvamasi, then you have prajnanam brahma, I am Atma Brahma. All that works very well. So this is for when you're meditating. Now today what we'll be talking is, how do I know that I am in that state of witness? A very, very crucial point. Which means if you have understood this, what happens? You will be always able to connect. And for that a little practice is to be done. Okay, I'll explain this and I'll give you a practical example of one of our students, how she was able to do this in her life. This didn't happen long back, just about a few days back. When we were discussing, this was told to me and I was really happy and surprised. Yes, somebody could get this straight. Okay, now, realizing that you are truly the witness, now, how do I get to this? So now here, enlightenment is precisely the shift what we need in our lives to get to that witness state. Okay. Now you ask yourself, who am I? Now the spontaneous response will be, I'm the knower. I'm the knower meaning I'm the knower, I'm the enjoyer, I'm the sufferer. The one who is now speaking. Now you will say the one who is listening. And then I also got some feelings, emotions. All this is happening. So we have identified ourselves as the doer, the enjoyer, the experiencer, the sufferer, all this, right? So far good? But true awakening happens when the reference point of that I, so far what I have understood to be, like I am listening, from that I to the one who is from the knower to the witness. which means you have to now identify a separate entity which is known as the witness, and that witness is the knower or the enjoyer or the sufferer or the listener or the speaker or whatever it is. So when you inquire, who am I? And the answer comes to you as, I am that witness. That is enlightenment. See, what is all this study about? To self-realize. To self-realize meaning what? It is as simple as now you have gone to, let's say, a beach. Or a beach holiday. Okay, now you stayed there for a week. A nice resort which is on the beach, and almost every morning till kind of 10, 11 during the day you are at the beach, and then again in the evening you are at the beach. So naturally what happens is your skin is likely to get tanned. And then you realize, oh my God, I've got tanned. My skin is tanned. Or you put on weight. You say, I think I've put on weight. As simple as that. What did you do? You realized that your skin is tanned. You have realized that you have put on weight. In the same way, now you have realized that I know my true self. I am not the knower. Understand this. I am not the knower, but I am the knower of the knower, which means I am witnessing the knower. Witness of what? Even the knower. Now this is very subtle, but you have to make that shift in your mind. So the very witness that observes the knower is also the source of knower. There is something more to add to this. In fact, it alone appears to act as the knower. Double role. There are no two things over here. The witness, it acts as the knower when in contact with our body and mind. But once you recognize this, you are no longer trapped in the role of the knower. So the first step is to simply become aware that there is a witness presence within you. That's all. I so far thought that I know, I listen, I talk, I give, I take, I suffer, I enjoy. But now understand that behind that knower, there is a witness. In fact, most of us don't even acknowledge this possibility. We have identified so deeply with our thoughts, emotions, and when we overlook at that silent, unchanging awareness behind it all, it becomes very difficult to retain that. So recognize that pure, still, unchanging consciousness, that is the sakshi, the witness, as our true essence. Now, just as you have realized that your skin has tanned, or you have put on weight, or you have shed weight, whatever, in the same way now you understand, oh, there is one more entity which is behind the knower. And where does the knower's capacity to know come from? From consciousness. Now the knower borrows its light from consciousness. That its awareness comes only from that witness, which is that consciousness. All that I am doing, I am knowing, I am speaking, I am listening, I am feeling, these first person experiences which we are having right now. It may be very warm around you. It may be very cold. The AC temperature is maybe at 20-21 degrees. You're feeling a little chill. So this first-hand experiences, they gain their reality from the presence of the witness. In essence, it is not the knower who is real. It is that witness alone, unchanging, ever present, which is the truth. Now I'll tell you how a sadhak, what she was saying. There was a discussion going on in the family, and sometimes they go a little off track, and then immediately what you do, where are we stationed? We are stationed in the knower. Knower is nothing but that aham bhava, I. And when they say something, you immediately retaliate. Correct? And when that was happening, she said that, yes, you had taught us about being the witness. Who is doing all this? That Paramatma alone is doing all this through my body and mind. This thought suddenly came to her during that point of time. And then she said, now I have surrendered now. I am not the doer, meaning I am not the speaker here. I am not the one who is making all these actions, because your actions also get wild along with your speech. Says, I am not doing that. And the moment she got established in that pure witness or consciousness state, she said, I was able to completely 360-degree change my attitude to everybody who was present in that situation. And I spoke so normal. I did not have any anger, nor grudge, nor agitation, nor tension. And with a smile, I spoke a few words and moved away from there. See how this knowledge helps us. Otherwise, it could have been a big breaker. So, these are the things. When we are so blessed to have so many such kind of situations in our life, let these come. One of the great philosophers, I don't know whether you all must have heard about him, Krishnamurti. Now, you know what he says? He says, sorrows in our life should be treated like jewels. Immediately, if anybody listens to it, they'll say he's gone out of his mind. What? Sorrow should be treated like jewels. And then he starts explaining, saying, this sorrow which has come to me in my life, it's like a jewel. So well it has been crafted. See the design of the jewel. See the precious stones which are in this jewel. And see the luster and charm it has got. So beautiful it is. He says, that way you have to look at your sorrows, because they are the ones which will lift you up. Happiness will not take you closer to God. Understand that carefully. What we need at this point is a decent amount of things not working in our favor. It could be health problems, it could be relationship problems, it could be finance problems. Whatever, all these are ordained by that divine. He says, these children of mine who are dear to me, select few, I am going to give. He says, I am giving them all these issues in life so that I am able to draw them towards me. So in this way, this Chaitanyam, this Chit, this Sakshi, Chiti, Brahman, Atman, all are the same synonyms. So what does this mean? This Sakshi, that Atman which is there within you, you should visualize that it is the one who is the knower or the doer, the actor. So be stationed. Now going from that knower, you have to make your flight or jump towards the Atman. This is what we need to do. So then what happens? Now as the Upanishad says, say that Tattvamasi. Now what is Tattvamasi? Tat points to that Parabrahman, and Tvam refers to that witnessing self within you. From the knower you have come to the witnessing self now, which is the Sakshi, which is our true identity. On a deeper reflection, what happens? Both the meanings of that Tat and Tvam point out to that same one reality, which is that Nirguna Brahman, the formless, attributeless, and the absolute. So this is the way we have to approach Advaita Vedanta, through what we call as Padartha Shodhana. Shodhana means inquiry. Now initially what Bhagavan Shankaracharya taught us, inquire. Unless and until you inquire, there you will never get into get to the right place. Padartha. Padartha is about these. What is that? The meanings of Tat and Tvam, which is known as the Padartha Shodhana towards the Nirguna Brahman. How they are related. Tat Padartha Shodhana, Tvam Padartha Shodhana, and what is the Lakshya in this Shodhana is they both point out to that Nirguna Brahman, Sat Chit Ananda. So this has to be how we need to move ahead in our lives. That simple twist or raise what we have to undergo. If that is there, then we are progressing. So slowly you start, and say somebody is coming and behaving very rude with you. Who is that person? There is only one person here who is appearing as many. Bring that knowledge to your mind. Don't allow the ego to take the forefront. See, this is a test which has come to you. Why that fellow is a fool is behaving like that with me? Arey, understand, it is a test which has been sent for you. It is none other, you are none other than that one reality, and he is also none other than that reality. You are all on a stage which is directed by that one Brahman. So this way, get established and see how well he is delivering his dialogues. Don't go for the content. Wow, one after the other, he is delivering those dialogues in such a decent way, and finally you will see that you are not at all disturbed. The moment you come back to your ego, then it will not take even a few seconds for you to react and blow it out of proportion. So for a sadhak, one thing which we can see is sadhaks never react, they only respond. So try to get that quality, improve that quality, and rise. It's every day, every situation you have to look at how I can make myself better. So this way, now we move on to verse 21. I have given you a fair idea of the witness, that is the sakshi, and the knower. Now let's see what Bhagavan Shankara has to say in this verse number 21. Atma nityo hi sadrupo deho nityo hi sanmayaha tayoraikyam prapashyanti kimajnanamata param. Now, as you have seen from 17 onwards till 21, the second line is the same. Tayoraikyam prapashyanti kimajnanamata param. Tayoraikyam, you are seeing oneness between these two. Between what? Atma and the body. So, to give you a recap on that, from 17, he said Atma is one and the body is with several parts. So how can the one which is a composite, which does not have parts, and the one which has got so many parts be one and the same? There can't be a greater ignorance than this. And then the 18th shloka he said Atma niyamakascha, and Deho is niyamyakaha. So which means the Atma is the controller, whereas the Deha is the one which is controlled. So how can controller and the controlled be one? And then in 19 they spoke about Atma jnanamaya punyo and Deho mamsamayo ashuchihi actually. So Atma is jnanamaya, it's full of knowledge, full of bliss, full of divinity. And whereas Deho is filled with blood, muscles, tissues, and all sorts of wet and dry matter. So he says, how can they both be one? And then in 20 he says, Atma prakashaka swacho dehas Tamasa uchyate. Prakashaka means it comes under the sattva. It is full of divine light. Whereas this deha is tamas, means it is jada. How can they both be one? And so now he comes in the verse 21. Atma nityo hi sadrupo deho nityo hi sanmayaha. Now here, let's understand this now. Then he changes his course after this 21. We'll see that. Okay. Okay. Now, Atman is eternal, which means the witness consciousness. Because we experience a seamless continuity of identity despite the constant changes in our body. Let's take the body only. It's basically talking of the body and the Atman. From childhood, youth, adulthood, middle age, old age, and eventually death. Who is that one who is experiencing all these changes? It is not the body, because the body itself is changing, and yet we say, I was a child, I was a teenager, I was a youth, I was a middle-aged person, and now I am an old person. That I has never changed. We never say someone else was the child. I was not the one who was a child. We never say someone else is now in youth or in middle age. So now this points to a very deep truth. That unchanging witness behind the ever-changing body-mind complex. Actually, I am coming backwards now. We have already moved far ahead. We have moved from the body to that knower, and we have also now understood what is that witness also. So now it has become lighter for you to understand, because you have already known what the climax is. So if the experiencer of change is aware of the change, it must be distinct from what is changing. Very simple, isn't it? So now there is a change. There is a change in the weather outside. Now you are watching the change. So naturally you are different from the weather. So change to be recognized as change needs to be witnessed by something which is constant. That constant, unchanging witness is the Atman. So you may ask then, but when the body dies, doesn't consciousness also vanish? So here's another subtle point. Everything we experience, which the Upanishads say, be it birth, be it death, be it joy, be it sorrow, is known to us. These are only objects of experience. But the knower, the experiencer, is never an object. You cannot experience the destruction of the experiencer. Why? Because to experience it, you must still be present. We say, people die. But what do we actually observe? Only the body perishes. No one has ever seen or witnessed the experiencer, the so-called experiencer, die. So we can only observe maybe the behavior of a person, his actions, his words, his expressions. But when we infer the presence of a mind or self, what happens is we know that there is something deeper to it. That's knowledge, what we call. So what we have to come to an understanding here is, it is that one and one consciousness alone. Like all individual I, where we say, I meaning I as a person, as a knower, are like those waves on the ocean of that pure Sat or existence. So now let's give an analogy for this, how to understand this principle of awareness within this body. So body it has got no life. It is actually inert in itself. Let's say you have some carrots in your fridge. Okay. Now you take them out of the fridge. They are cold because they are nicely in a very cold, conducive temperature. Now you take those carrots and you put them in some water, and then you put water in, the water is in a pot, a metal pot, and then you light the metal pot with fire, obviously, which means you have kept it on the stove. Now, when you have lit fire to the vessel or the metal pot, now you come back and see, you see that after a while, you take those carrots and you put it in a plate, they are steaming hot. Now ask a question. Does this heat belong to the carrots? Meaning, is this heat intrinsic to the carrots? No, obviously not. Where did it get from the heat from? It got from the water, which means water, the heat is intrinsic to the water. No, one point of time the water was cold. This water came from the vessel. The heat to the water came from the vessel, which means, was that vessel hot? Is that heat intrinsic to the vessel? No. With bare hands, I pulled it out of the shelf and placed it on the stove. It was cold enough, so that heat came from fire. And now ask the question, where did the fire get the heat from? It is intrinsic. So what borrows something which is like the heat, which you're borrowing? That something, meaning that heat never truly possesses it. It gains and it loses eventually. What has it intrinsically never loses it. So now let's apply this principle to existence. What we normally see, now you see a wooden table. Now where does this wooden table get its existence from? It gets from the wood. Now where does wood borrow its existence from? From the more fundamental factors, which are the Panchabhutas. And where does the Panchabhutas get its existence from? From a more deeper aspect, which is the atoms. So eventually we arrive at something that doesn't borrow existence. And what is that? That is that existence itself, what we call as Sat. So this unborrowed intrinsic existence, which we call as Sat, that Atman is Sat. It is never born, it always is, and it never dies, and it always will be. So this is now, it was also explained in the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, verse number 16, Nasato vidyate bhava, na bhavo vidyate sataha, which means the unreal has got no being, meaning no existence, and the real never ceases to be. In other words, that which is subject to change is not eternal. Anything which you see is changing is not eternal. It can even change further. That which is real never ceases to be. And seers are the ones. Seers means the one who have got this knowledge, have realized the truth about both this permanency and impermanency. Now coming to the details of this particular shloka. Atma nityo hi sadrupo deho nityo hyasanmayaha. So which means this Atma is the one which is eternal, and Deha is one which is transient. It goes on changing. So now, do we need to understand, somebody has to convince us that body changes? I don't think. It's all a first-hand experience right from our childhood. And even now, sometimes they make fun of us. Like, they show you a picture where you are about 2 years old, you're standing naked over there. They show you that picture to make fun of you. And we don't say, no, it is not me. We don't say that. He says, yes. And you try to grab it, and that way. So we know that we are on a constant change. So whatever has been changing in you is not your true self. This is a takeaway. Your mind is changing, it's not your true self. Body is changing, not your true self. Your senses are changing, not your true self. Senses are changing means what? Earlier I was able to see everything so clearly. Now I barely can see. Meaning what? They are changing. So that which is changing is asat. And that which doesn't change, which is the one which is watching this change, that is supposed to be sat. So this way now one has to understand and grasp that point deep in our minds. I am not this. Whatever I so far thought, I am this body, I am this mind, just get rid of that. It will not help us in any way. It will not help us. And how is it? See, like we say, this is my car, and something happens to that car, meaning you don't say that I am the car. You may say this is my pen, but I am not the pen. So then why do you say that this is my body and you also say that I am this body? So here is that ajnana which has crept in. So we have to be careful about this and construe this fact. Are we here like, do we say that I have a nice a shirt, let's say, and the shirt is mine. I am this shirt. We don't say that. We say the shirt is mine, but we never say I am this shirt. And you never say that, now I'm going to make this shirt happy. I want to keep this shirt always peaceful, contented, smiling, and in good health. Do we ever say that? Just like that shirt is an object which it's an utility to you in a life. In the same way, the body is nothing but a utility for you. But on the contrary, what do? We go out of the way to give pleasure to the body. And the same happens with the mind. So he makes it very clear. Understand what is eternal or permanent. That is your true nature. And what you are taught to be, which is not eternal, which is subject to decay, is not your true self. Okay. Now we go to the next verse. Verse number 22. Now he moves on to a next dimension. Let's understand this. Atmanastat prakashatvam yat padartavabhasanam nagnadidiptavat diptihi bhavati andhyam yata nishi. Now, as you can see, the luminosity of Atman consists in the manifestation of all objects. Its luminosity is not like the fire or any such thing, for in spite of the presence of such lights, darkness prevails at light at some place or the other. Very deep meaning. Let's take it up. This is rather quite interesting, and it's a kind of a challenge to the mind to understand such a deep subject. Okay, now Padartha avabhasana means the objects of the knowledge of objects. So here the identification which we have with the body is known as the dehatma buddhi. Yeah, we are identified with our body. So that deeply rooted conviction that I am the body it's more than a mere intellectual understanding. Okay. So which is an unquestioned feeling so far. Very few people have started questioning this. And as we say, that only comes when you are moving towards understanding your true self. And what does Vedanta say? Vedanta says that you not understanding your true self is the cause of all suffering in your life. Why am I suffering? Just because I have not understood my true self. So Vedanta asserts that this identification, it arises from a fundamental error. Fundamental error is that ajnana, which has been coming to us life after life. In our own lives, some years back, before we got into study of this Vedanta, we were also the same. We were completely identified with the body, mind and senses, and whatever they asked, we just went on giving and fulfilling. So now the teachings, now they aim to show us as to how this is so. It is inviting us to examine and reflect deeply. Okay. Now, if I'm not the body, does that mean that I'm some kind of a ghost, who is having some physical form and I'm moving around? No, that's not what is meant over here. So rather, our understanding, once it matures, we begin to grasp that this Vedanta means we are saying we are not the body, just like you have a buffalo at home or a cow at home. You are not the buffalo or the cow. That is different. It is my buffalo. Fair enough. Same way, this is my body. But I am not the buffalo. Same way, I am not the body. So that investigation, once we go, then our understanding deepens. We had discussed about the story of that hunter and the young boy who was the hunter's son. The minister comes and spots him, and then he tells the hunter's son, "Oh young man, you are not the hunter's son. You are the prince of this kingdom." So till that day, what was the understanding of that hunter's son? Right from his age of 1 or so, till he is now about 20-21, his understanding was that I am this hunter's son. Day and night they used to chase animals, kill and eat whatever that meager they used to get. And for nights together they used to be on a tree waiting for an animal. So all that kind. So now he says, you are the prince of this kingdom. So now this revelation which came into the so-called hunter's son, now it shattered his entire self-conception, what he had so far. I had conceived myself to be the hunter's son. But now he says, no, he understood it. So similarly, what these Vedantic teachings are, now they are all pointers. They are challenging whatever assumption we have made about ourselves. They are challenging those assumptions and they are revealing the bare, naked truths to us about our true identity. Okay, now here, this is the background what we got now. When we look at the light of the Atman illumines everything. So our inner consciousness, what is that Atman? That inner consciousness. Now I've already given you a background. There is one Atman, and now that is reflecting on the knower, the doer, the experiencer, the enjoyer, the sufferer. In Sanskrit, karta, bhokta, jnata. So there are now two. Okay, now that consciousness is what illumines all the objects. Now here is giving us some great insights about that. Okay, illumine means illumine, meaning what? Throw light. Throw light meaning what? He talks about, now when we say, in normal English parlance we say, can you throw some light on this subject? It's not that somebody will take a torch and throw light over there. Which means, can you make me understand this subject? Now here when you say illumines all objects, meaning now he's saying there is some light which is illumining each and every experience of yours. It is not material. It's not like some kind of a fire or some kind of an electrical light, or he says it's not even sunlight. Instead, it is pure awareness. And what is that awareness? That any experience which we have in our life, this light is the basis of every experience. See, so many of all of us who are spiritual, religious, now we all have said, you must be listening to some schools of thought which focus on light. Now, that meaning of what is that true meaning? Meaning we thought, I thought they must be lighting some lamp or something and focusing on that light. No. Now, this light, what we are talking about, it has got a fantastic meaning. We'll have to understand this. Now, let's go deeper into it. What is this light? Which means now if I have to understand that consciousness within me, I am not seeing any light within me. It's all dark inside. What is this light? So take, for example, this room where I am sitting now. Now, this physical light which is there, it is illumining this entire room. But without our eyes, even this lit up room would mean nothing to us. Now, if you say, I close my eyes, what happens? There is so much of light here, but I can't see any objects. Everything disappears from my experience. The moment I or you, wherever you are, you just close your eyes, nothing is perceived. So the eyes are needed to perceive the light. This is intellectually very thrilling. Okay. Now in this sense, what happens? The eyes become the light of the light. When do you need light? To show something. You say, throw light. So whatever light which you see, practical light, is seen by the eyes, which means eyes become the light of the light. Okay. Now that's alone not enough. Now if the mind is inattentive or it has been distracted, sometimes you have a stare look, what we call. We are just staring at somebody. He says, hey, hello, where are you? Blank stare. So that fellow's mind is gone somewhere else. So even that mind too acts as a light for the eyes, because whatever is conceived by the eyes, what happens? Now that goes through the optic nerves and neurons. There are electrical waves and it goes to the neurons and finally it reaches the mind, and then the mind illuminates the object which the eyes have gathered. Not a single object goes into your eyes. It is only the light which was on the object. It enters your eyes and that light eventually is converted to electrical signals, impulses, and those impulses go into your mind. See the sensory inputs. Now, what do we actually experience here? The image which is captured by the eyes, though it is transmitted electrically, now that experience, that mental reconstruction of that external world, what we see as an object, now that appears not outside but within our minds. True seeing is where it happens. It happens in your mind. Okay. And in the mind, it is that consciousness which illumines all these mental images. So now some can ask, why invoke consciousness at all? Couldn't the mind simply be self-luminous? No. That is where we say it is all jada. The body is jada, the mind is jada, the senses are jada. And because they are constantly changing, that is also another factor. Thoughts, feelings, perceptions, emotions, they keep flowing in and out, going up and down. But what remains constant is that one enlivening factor, which is that consciousness, that same awareness. It perceives the changing senses, the sceneries, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions. Now look at say a glass of water. We are actually seeing it in our minds. Consciousness illumines this mental image which is in front, a glass of water. It illumines this image and what you see is in your mind. So this doesn't deny the existence of a world outside. Let's be very clear about this. But the point is, our experience of that world always takes place internally, which is inside the mind. And how is that mind illumined? By awareness. And another example is when we close our eyes, the world vanishes from our experience. When we sleep, even the mind dissolves. But even then there is an awareness of absence. This awareness is nothing but the light of consciousness. Don't we say that I slept so well? Now, how did you know that? Even though your eyes were closed, your mind was not there, but still you had that awareness of experience, and that is continuous. So, what is meant? The illumination of objects all throughout waking, dreaming, sleep, at every point of time, there is a stream of experiences happening, which is appearing in our mind, and that is lit up by that self-luminous consciousness. Be it a waking state, a dream state, or a deep sleep state. Now, another angle to this is from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Now, what they say, this is what about 5,000 years back. By what light does a person go out in the daytime and conduct his business? They say it is the light of the sun. Okay, then what does that person, how does he conduct his business at night when the sun has set and it's dark? No, this is in a poetical way they have written. So they say at night people conduct their business by the light of the moon. Now, when the sun has set and the moon also has set, in the sense it is Amavasya, let's say. Now, how does the humans conduct their affairs? They say by the light of the fire. That is the answer. So when there is no sunlight, when there is no moonlight, then you have to take help of the fire, which is like a lamp. Now when the sun has set, the moon has set, and then the fire is also dozed off. By what light do you know that people are present in the room? So there are no lights. Even the lamp which you have lit has gone. How do I know that somebody is present there? Then the Upanishad says, this person comes to know by the Shabda, which is the light of our voice. He doesn't say our voice. He says by the light of our voice. Now, so that sound becomes speech, the speech which comes out as sound, by the light of that speech, we come to know of the presence of somebody. So now they say when speech also falls silent, the sun has set, the moon has set, the fire has doused, and the speech falls silent, by what light do you know that we exist? Now, this is all what we are now driving to the right point. Imagine complete darkness. You can't see anything. You can't hear anybody. There's nobody speaking. So, how do I know that I exist in the room or not? Because you cannot see, you cannot hear. And do I need a light to say whether I exist or not? At that time, sitting alone in that darkness in one corner of the room, you have absolutely no doubt about one thing, that you exist. How? By that light, you got to know that you exist. And that is the light of that consciousness. That is consciousness. You can call it as sentience, awareness, consciousness. It is quite different from the mind. Mind is what? Thoughts, emotions, feelings, ideas. So the presence of all this, the thoughts, emotions, ideas, is revealed by the light which you are. You meaning that pure consciousness. Now what have I thought? I thought I am the mind. I thought I am the body. I thought I am the senses. No. So this is very clear now. That light, yes, it is which reveals everything. And then they add one more very important aspect here is, This light is not like you put that light and darkness runs away. This is a very important aspect which we need to understand. Normally what? Now let's say you bought a torch and you flash the torch. They call it a flashlight. And darkness doesn't go, let's say, whatever is you flashed on a dark room, it is still dark. Then what is the point of that light? But here this light is absolutely different. It only shows us what is present. If there is light, it shows us there is light. If there is darkness, it shows us that there is darkness. The presence and the absence of the objects. That is the beauty of this light. So, as we say, tameva bhantam. Now this comes in the Kathopanishad. Tameva bhantam manubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. That shining, everything else shines. By its light, all is revealed. The statement is so powerful, even the sun shines by this light, they say. The sun shines by this light. The moon shines by this light. The darkness also shines by this light. Now you understand what kind of light is that? Where it makes the sun shine, the moon shine, and also the darkness shine. So that is that Jyotira Jyoti. And who is that? That which is in you, which you can experience as that consciousness, not the Ahambhava. Now we have come out of that. So that Atmanas Tat Prakashatvam. So the light of the self is the illumination of all objects. So this light is not like fire. Not like that flame which can illumine some spaces depending on the intensity of the fire. No, this is too dull a fire. It cannot even show me something which is 5 feet away. But that consciousness illumines both light and darkness. It is present wherever you are. Whether you perceive objects or you perceive their absence, that is the light which reveals everything. And then, na agnadi diptivat. It is not a flame or any luminous object. The scriptures say, Dipti bhavati andhyam yato nishi. Diptivat bhavati andhyam yato nishi. Fire may illuminate certain places, while others remain in darkness. Physical light also has a limited range. Where it shines, there is light. Where it doesn't, there is darkness. But this inner light, your consciousness, is completely different. So never make this mistake that you have that kind of what is a normal light. No. Which illumines your room or your place. That way. This is absolutely a different light. It is called as a light, but it is not the light which we all have understood to have conceived so far. Okay. So here it talks about that particular light of the Atman which reveals everything. He just gave us an idea of what is Jyotira Jyoti or that consciousness nature is. Okay. Now, verse number 23. I hope everything is going good. Okay. Now, just if you feel, as I told you all, if is some cracking or breaking, you please just go back 5 minutes. That's good enough. You will be able to experience it well. Okay, come. Let's. Verse number 23. Deho hamityayam moodo matva tishtatyayo mamayamithyapi gnatva ghatadrashteva sarvada. How strange is it that a person ignorantly rests contented with the idea that he is the body? while he knows it as something belonging to him, and therefore it must be apart from him. It's just like a person who sees a pot, knows that it is apart from him. See, this is what we just now spoke about, my cow, my buffalo. It is my cow, my buffalo, fine, but I don't become the cow or I don't become the buffalo. Just like as Shankaracharya says, this is my pot, but I don't become the pot. So this is the deeper understanding here. Now let's try to get some more facts on this for better understanding. See, here and there, he comes out with concepts. Now that is which we need to understand, which may not directly give you some kind of a clarity at this point, but it is something which you need to keep in mind, where you can always use it. Okay, at times now when we say this is my body, and at other times we say I am this is me. So we don't use this kind of a language for anything else in the world. If you see, like you have let's say you have a handbag. Now you don't say I am the handbag. So let's say you have a bicycle or a motorcycle. You say this is my bicycle, this is my motorcycle, but I don't say I am the bicycle or I am the motorcycle. So you may have a parrot at home, let's say. You may say this is my parrot, but you won't say I am the parrot. How silly would that sound? But when it comes to the body, we flip. We keep flipping back and forth. There, I am this body. This is my body. And at some other times you say, I am this body. So this body, sometimes it may be 70 kilos, 80 kilos, 60 kilos. We use these kind of phrases interchangeably without realizing their inherent contradiction. But think, can something that belongs to you be you? That simple logic. This book belongs to me, but am I this book? This chair belongs to me, but am I this chair? This house belongs to me, but am I this house? Where have we gone wrong? That is ignorance. These are the corrections which one needs to make in our life. You look at your own self and see how is that you suddenly change your verdict when it comes to so many objects. You say this is my kitchen, this is my book. Now see, this is an artifact. This is my beautiful dress which I bought the other day for my birthday, you can show. And then you said this is my grandson, granddaughter. Now all these which you go on showing, you were correct in that. But then when it came to your body, you suddenly said, this is me. It is not, think of a leader, let's say a prime minister or a president or a CEO of a company, who goes on obeying to each and every demand every employee makes or every citizen makes. Then what is he, a leader? He's just a puppet. So that is our condition. The body, along with its senses and the mind, it goes on putting requests to you. I want this, I want this. I want it this way, I don't want it this way. Where are you in the picture? Now if you are going in a car and the driver is taking you where he wants to go, then how foolish it would have been, that ride. Let's say you sit in a taxi and then the taxi driver takes you to wherever he wants to go. There's no meaning to that ride, isn't it? In the same way. Now this tongue, it tells us, taste this. So nice, taste it. And then the eye says, look there, look. Then the ears say, hey, listen to this, listen to this. Now, when all these things are happening, this is something which we need to reckon about. We have been doing this. We really don't have much control over our mind, our senses, and the body. Most of the time we have got used to it. What I mean to say here is, we have got used to it. So we have to understand that they are not my owners. I am their owner. So that Atman within you, it establishes a control over the mind and the senses and the body. So that's the absurdity which Shankaracharya says. What is this? You are saying I am the body. It doesn't look good. You look like a fool to me. Because the fool is clinging to the idea and that he is this person, this body, this mind, this senses. So I saying change. So in this way now, one has to understand his true self. That is what knowledge here Bhagavan Shankaracharya is trying to give us, and we need to understand it. Okay, so we stop here. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Namamah. Om Tat Sat. Now we take up verse number 49 of the Vishnu Sahasranama, and the Namavali will be 455. Let's understand that. Let's read the shloka first. Suvratas sumukas sukshmaha sugoshas sukadas surad Manoharo jitakrodo virabahur vidaranaha. 455. The one who is ever performing the pure vow. It is a sacred vow of the Lord that he has to give shelter and protection to all those who totally surrender themselves to him, says Sri Ramachandra. Abhayam sarva bhutebhyo dadamyo tat vratam mama. To give shelter to all living creatures. This is my vow. Vratam mama means my vow. So this term can also refer to him who has done tapas for a long number of years on the mount of Naranarayana in Badrinath. So Suvrataha is the divine name denoting of the Lord who gives shelter to all creatures who have understood him in the true sense. We pray to such a divine Almighty, seek his grace, mercy and blessings. Now, let's take the blessings of Dhanvantari Devata for our well-being in terms of health. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutagalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutagalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutagalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaaya Swaha. To Lord Dhanvantari, our humble salutations, and we pray for good health. Now, let's do the Brahma Jnanavalli shloka number 5, which was incomplete last time. Let's take it forward. Now we'll chant the shloka. Shuddha Chaitanya Rupoham Atma Ramohameva Cha Akhandananda Rupoham Ahamevahamauyayaha. All of you comfortably be seated. Just ensure, although your body is relaxed, keep your spine straight. Do not bend your head. Push your chest a little ahead and you will get the posture right. Ensure your body is relaxed, especially your forehead and your face. Relax. Take a few deep breaths. If you wish, you can also do Anulom Vilom or Brahmari Pranayam. Please continue. Prior to any meditation, pranayam is the key for effective meditation. Chanting of Om, Brahmari Pranayam, Anulom Vilom, they all set the stage in the right manner. Now, in this state of deep meditation, know that you are not the Annamaya Kosha. You are neither the gross body nor the Pranamaya Kosha. You are neither the pranas nor the subtle body, which is, you are not the mind, intellect, which means you are not the Vijnanamaya Kosha as well, and eventually you are not the Anandamaya Kosha, which is the causal body, filled with ignorance. You are not the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, They all belong to your mind. Look at the body just like as you have a car. It's an instrument which you use to move around here and there. Look at it just like a vehicle. And to take you to different places in that car, you have a driver. Your mind is none other than the driver, who at your instructions take you to wherever you want to go. And you are that Atman who is sitting at the back in the so-called car, which is the body, in the presence of the driver, which is the mind. So anytime you relate to your body, know that it is no less than your car. Anytime you relate to your mind, know that it is no less than your driver. What happens to the car is like what happens to your body. You are an observer to whatever happens to the body, which means the car. In the same way, whatever happens in your mind is happening to the driver, not to you. You are different from the driver. You are different from the body, the car. Now take this example and live with it throughout the day. Anything you are doing on the body, know that you are doing for your car. It's not you. Anything you are seeing in your mind, know that it is you are seeing the driver. They are tools to support you and instruments to help you maneuver life. Now in that state, me being the Atman, the Shuddha Chaitanya Rupoham, I am that nature of pure consciousness. I have come out of the Dehatma Buddhi. I am not these fleeting thoughts, emotions, or the body. I am the silent witness, the pure and untouched, ever free. Let this sink in your mind. I'll give some gap. Atma Ramohamevacha. I am not seeking God outside. I am that. All divine qualities exist within me as my own true nature, which is that pure awareness, consciousness, which is enlivening the functioning of this body, which is quite different from the body and the mind. That is my true nature. Akhanda Rupoham. Akhanda, unbroken, indivisible. Ananda means bliss, not temporary happiness we get from the senses. Our true nature is of eternal peace beyond worldly ups and downs. Happiness is not in the objects. It is my very nature. Ahamevahamavyayah. I alone am. I am that unchanging principle. That Atman, the self, the Chaitanya, which never dies, which never ages, which never diminishes. So be established in the fact that you are not a limited individual. You are the infinite blissful self. You were never bound by karma, suffering or change. These are sheer illusions of the mind. Realizing this truth, one becomes free from all fear, sorrow, anxiety, pain, suffering, and doubt. You are already that what you want to seek. All that you want to seek in life, you are already that. Just recognize it. When it comes to being your untrue part, which is the jiva, you are playing a role on the stage of life. It is a sheer role. Play it with all elegance, with that bliss, joy, and contentment, because you are already that which you want to be. Observe your breath. Become aware of the surroundings. Become aware of your untrue self. A role which you are playing in this world called life. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Together we offer today's Jnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Lord, to seek His grace, mercy and blessings. Naham Karta Hari Preranaya Hari Prityartam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Idam Namama. Om Tat Sat. once again, good evening to all of you, and I hope we are getting more and more established, trying to know subtle concepts and theories. What we need to do is be established in them. That's very important. Wish you all the best. Hari Om.